good-looking dame on the floor. The poker chip in her purse was the clue. The hitman had claimed one more. Hot on his trail for so long, this killer's defined my career. But the case went cold in 1922 and stayed cold for 8 long years. My name's Detective Seymour, but everyone calls me Ace. In 2 weeks I collect my pension, get the hell out of this place. But the past has a way of creeping up on ya and dragging you back down a hole.
So let's start like this.
Okay.
So let's say, all right. So here we are. All right, Ron. Let's set the scene.
Okay.
All right. What are we doing here?
You're the talk. I'm always a talker, so I'm trying to take a back seat.
Really?
I mean, if you want. I mean, imagine a world
Are you
where
always
I'm
a
not
talker?
talking
I
that
don't
much.
know. I feel like I'm talking all the time. So anyway, okay.
Oh, that'd be interesting to go back and time it out. I think.
Yeah, compare. Yeah. I always feel like I'm talking too much.
I feel like you might be talking too much, but you're also talking 10% of the time.
Bam. Okay. So, all right. So let's set the scene. So what are we doing here?
Okay, so the idea is UnExperts. The idea is first of all, we're calling it the UnExperts. We're well aware that it's actually we should be inexpert, but UnExpert is kind of is proving a point that we take pride in not being experts, because film critics and film critique is often, while it may or may not be correct by some standard, many people now that are into it have become expert consumers, if not expert filmmakers. And you and I have felt like for a long time that we could probably be better critics and better reviewers and better purveyors of information for other people than a lot of people could, and that's commonly available. Like, it gets almost too twisted, and
Yes.
you're reading A.O. Scott in the New York Times, and at the end, okay, all you know is the guy went to university or whatever. I mean,
Yes.
you don't,
Yes.
you don't know what he's talking
Yes.
about.
We're coming at it from the consumer perspective.
Yeah, but
we like watching shit.
Yeah,
and we
but-
know what we like.
Right,
And we can talk about why we like it, why or why we don't like it, and the nuances of our enjoyment of it.
Right.
And so that's how we're approaching this.
But it's not to. I'm not trying to imply that it's not nuanced, that it's lowbrow, that it's. But I mean, the whole point of it is we can, and we're going to approach some classic movies, I think, in that neither of us have seen, or we've only seen them a few times, or one of us has seen them, or whatever, in a way that's and I'm not going to know, and you're not going to know what. Well, I should say that I'm making it a point not to go and read some review that somebody else wrote about whatever movie that we've seen. We're going to say what we think for ourselves, and it's going to be honest. It's not going to. We're not trying to impress anybody, and I think that a lot of people will be able to come to this site or this channel and get something out of it. Actually,
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so to put a little bit of frame around what we're doing in this moment of time. So we have decided to pick 50 movies each.
100 big ones.
25 of which, 50 movies that we think are must-see movies.
So actually, but from the point of view of the audience, it's 100 must-see movies.
Yeah, it's 100 must-see movies. 25 of which
50 of which. I mean, I
50,
understand.
Right. Yeah. So a total of 100 movies.
Yep.
50 of which we consider should see movies.
Right.
50 of the other 50 which we consider both should see and want to see. Movies.
Whoa. First, the first 50 should see, 50 want to see. I'm not sure if the want to see or should sees or not. I mean, that's to be
That's a good point.
That's to be debated. on a
Right.
case by case basis.
Right. Yes, exactly.
So, and that being said, it's going to be half are going to be you and half are going to be me,
Yes.
right?
So I'm choosing half of them, you're choosing half of them, and we do not know what is on the other person's list.
Right. Absolutely. And not only do we not know, we don't know we don't know until the big reveal each week what's going to be.
Right. So what we're about to do now is flip a coin,
Right.
and whoever wins the coin toss, we watch their movie today.
That's it. Right.
And after we're done, we'll have a little discussion. Why you picked the movie? Have I seen it? Have you seen it? Blah blah blah. All of those things, and then
We're going to discuss that before. Well, we're going to have a little intro discussion before we play it, right? After the coin toss here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yep.
so wait, I'm the flipper, I suppose. So I'm gonna flip it.
Okay. Let's do it. Heads, baby.
Oh, you lose. Okay, since
Man.
you lost.
50-50 my ass.
Okay, so the big reveal. It's
All right.
It's Wim Wenders Until the End of the World. Never heard of it?
The Look of Cluelessness.
Oh, okay.
Never heard of it.
Wow.
So it is obviously not on my list.
Yeah. This was like a formative movie for me.
Okay. All right. So I have no commentary on it at this point because I don't even know what the hell it is.
Right.
So why did you choose it?
I had only moved to New York. I had only been here for a year or something like that, and I spent the day in by myself in Angelica Theater, going from movie to movie, going from theater to theater, and I was between apartments, and I was waiting to move into somebody's apartment. I had my luggage with me, and I just walked into this movie. I just picked it. It's 3 hours long, 2.5 hours long, and it was so what I fucking needed.
Wow.
Yeah. And
So this is like a formative New York experience movie.
yeah, I was like, I want to. You walk into a theater and you play this, and this is the kind of movie you see when you walk in. Like, I want to live in that city. That was It was great. It was It's So I don't know. I think given the particulars of this movie that you haven't even heard of it, there's no rep, there's no for you, which is fine. And a lot of people, let me put it this way: I couldn't play it on Amazon. You can't stream it anywhere. Somebody put it up on YouTube, and I double checked. It seems like it's decent. So obviously, it's not that well known.
All right.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well.
So I think instead of even trying, I think maybe we just watch it and talk about this after.
Yeah, I don't want to hear anything about it.
Oh no, I wasn't going to even try. I mean, it's interesting that. So I'm not going to say anything about it, but what I will say is that, and afterward, I don't even know if I would have been able to, and when it's all over, I want to see if we're able to say what it's about. That's too extreme, but right.
Yeah. Okay. So, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So, it sounds like your reasoning for picking this movie in the first place was more about the surrounding experience that you had.
Well, no. I would say that put me in the right mindset. But I think this is one of my favorite all-time movies. Period.
Great.
Yeah.
Important distinction.
Yeah. So it put me in the right mindset to even accept this movie. I wouldn't. This is an interesting one because I don't know if a lot of you're not gonna have any problem with this movie. You're not gonna have any problem getting through it. You're gonna really enjoy it. But you also really enjoyed 105 episodes of Babylon 5. So I don't know. It's gonna be this one's gonna be easy for you, but I really am curious about if you think it's easy for others.
Okay. All right. Good prompt.
Your prompt,
Thank you.
All right.
Yes. All right.
So
All right. You ready to dive in?
yeah. So is our little thing that I pull it up here and we play it for a second and then we fade out and then go to our thing, or
Yeah.
so. Whew. Fuck it up. Okay. Well, before I talk, I mean, you've not seen it before. Although I couldn't have told you all that stuff. So I saw that movie 30 years ago. I was 25 years old.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. Okay. Well, here we are on the other side.
Jeez, that's for sure.
Wow. That hard to say. Hard to really classify that movie. So okay, first off, killer fucking soundtrack. Great soundtrack, new wave, late 80s, early 90s. Oh, just great. Just great soundtrack.
It was made in 91.
Yeah, barely. It was in 91, yeah. So barely early 90s.
Basically 80s, yeah.
Yeah, late 80s, new wave. It was fantastic.
Don't you think?
Yeah, really, really great soundtrack. It was okay. Here are my first impressions.
Yeah.
It felt like three movies. It felt like three movies that were connected by a thread. And the interesting thing about them is that each of the three movies had a different emotional feel to them.
So when you say three, tell me which three. What are the three?
So it first started out as like this kind of like this kind of weird vagabondy God, I don't even know. Well, like this weird vagabond God, I don't know. It's hard to say. So like, okay, so the beginning, it's like bank robbery, there's it. I'm trying to wrap my head around it, man.
You remember,
trying to wrap my head around it.
You remember it was reminding me. You remember you said you saw the Jason Bourne movies?
Yeah.
And when they had to like Jason Bourne got a ride from the girl, I think it was to Paris, or it was from one European city to another, and they had a bag of money.
Mm-hmm.
And it was and it was in a little European car, and they were basically on the run, and it was like, and the car got damaged, I think, and I was like, wow, this is like the same thing. Like that's how the whole movie started, And I was wondering if like that was that reference in Jason Bourne, which obviously came later, was like on purpose,
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was.
So you say three movies, you don't necessarily literally mean three. You mean like, because obviously the part in Australia was sort of separate from the rest.
Yeah. No, it had three different feels to it. It was there was the natural thread that was going through the whole thing, of course, that was tying it together. But in the beginning, it felt like, oh, okay, this is going to be like, this kind of like weird, bank robber, people chasing each other around for money kind of thing, and then it turns into this kind of more.
I see. Okay, right. You thought it was you thought it was going to be like the Italian Job or something, like some
yeah. Like okay,
Ocean's 11 or something.
Right. Yes. More like that. And then it turns into like this this weird, mysterious, international spy type of movie.
Right.
And then it turns into this really intense, deep love story,
Yeah. Yeah.
all connected with this fucking weird thread of a nuclear satellite exploding.
Right. Right. Yeah. I know.
And all happening in the background.
Yeah.
And you know, like I gotta say right off the bat, great movie.
Okay.
Okay, not categorizing yet.
Oh,
Not categorizing yet.
gotcha.
I really like this movie.
All right.
There was one part in the whole movie that hit a discordant
Oh,
note.
didn't it? All that fucking stupid comedy, weird. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
In Japan?
Yes.
What the fuck was
Yeah.
that?
What was
like-
that? What was that?
What
Like
was that?
they got to Japan and they had like all that goofy music and they were like running around in that hotel.
He
I
lost
was like,
his mind. Yeah.
yeah, it was super fucking weird.
You completely agree.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
That clip out of the movie
Cut it out.
cut the whole fucking it feels like it totally does not belong in the rest of the movie.
Oh my god, it pissed me off actually. I was like, what the fuck is this? It's like an insult.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
Absolutely. Yep. So this, yeah, it's funny. So what you thought as a first? What did you think of it as the first choice for this project?
I think it was a really interesting choice. I think that you probably suspected that I've never seen it,
Oh yeah,
and you're correct.
yeah, yeah. I would have bet like a lot of money that you hadn't seen it.
Yeah, and you know, it's not only had I not seen it, I've never heard of it.
It's weird because Wim Wenders is a famous director, Wim Wenders, whatever.
Yeah, totally, and it had a pretty good cast.
Yeah,
You know?
and the music. It wasn't like the music was like crazy.
Yeah.
No, isn't it odd that movie isn't it odd that you can't stream it anywhere?
It's interesting, for sure. Yeah. So I'm super curious to hear your impression. Okay, so you saw it 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And you saw it 30 years ago during like a really impressionable time.
And I was feeling
Just arrived in New York,
fragile and vulnerable and
fucking early 90s. You're walking around with a suitcase, basically homeless, waiting for somebody to
Yeah.
like
Let me in,
waiting to meet somebody.
Yep. I know. It was like, so I was, and it's kind of like, and it kind of healed me a little bit. It kind of calmed me down or something. It would like, I felt like that movie. I felt like, I mean, I know I don't mean this literally, but it felt like it was like a coincidence that somebody or something was trying to tell me something. It was giving me perspective to see my own life. It's like, well, shit. If they, my life is is better than this, than their life, or not necessarily, but I mean, like, I guess maybe I'm not saying it right. I didn't. It was easier for me to look at my own problems or my own journey with perspective, and that I was going to be okay, and just kind of see what comes next, and enjoy the journey, and
It's
yeah.
no, go ahead.
No, and so this one's a little hard for me to separate about what I think of the movie, as a movie. And I know that's kind of the point of what we're doing here, is to give other people that are going to be watching this channel, some perspective. But so I feel like sometimes being partisan or subjective is okay, and like, so for me,
Absolutely.
I really love this
Sure.
movie, and I don't know if I'm too close to it, but it means a lot to me. So I wanted to share that with you, and so I've been wanting to watch this movie like for fucking 10 years now, or however long I've known you, basically. And so it and I even remember parts of it, like, you know, when Claire's when Claire's earlier boyfriend, the English guy, when he's like, you know, the healing power of words, you know, like, that's a big thing for me, you know. That's true. That's always been how I feel better about anything. It's about reading an audiobook or reading is always what I've done to make myself feel better about anything. And, you know, whenever I'm upset or something, and I like how, you know, how basically he healed her. He just left his story and let her read it, and when she finished, she was obviously better. You know, she got her perspective back. You know, yeah. So, and I guess the rest of it, it's sort of like, yeah, I feel like sometimes people are posing when they're watching films, and, you know, I've never been to Lisbon. I kind of want to go now, you know. But you look at the movie and you see how San Francisco and Lisbon are kind of the same, kind of similar, and you know, I'm from San Francisco, everybody, and so it feels like there's something. Like, you know how writers try to teach their readers about what the subject matter is about, and I feel like this is how I've learned a lot. This, you know, watching films sometimes, certain kinds of. Okay, you know what it is? It's like if you watch somebody like, I don't know, Jerry Bruckheimer or something. You know, you don't expect an honest portrayal of whatever. Like, you know, it's like if Donald Trump was making a movie or something, you know. But this is more like you trust the author, the director, the artist, whoever, to be authentic. And whatever, when I say authentic, I mean it's like genuine movie making. You know what I mean? And so it's like, so you kind of give your trust to them, and you leave yourself open to the experience. And I used to do that really a lot when I was younger, and I like to think I do it now. I've noticed sometimes when I go back, like, what? Did you ever see Wings of Desire? Yeah. So, like, another Wim Wenders movie. It's like there's a like, I don't know that Gina, my wife, would have patience to see it. Like, I remember seeing the movie more than once, and liking that they take a long time with each scene, and it's all pre MTV or whatever, and it feels like now people don't have patience for things as much, and I don't know if I feel like I was expecting this to seem too slow to me, but I was actually it wasn't, but it's slower than I'm used to, even though. So I noticed I noticed it was slower than modern things. Like, they just basically expect you to. They're in no hurry. They're sitting in the freaking garage in Australia, shooting the scrap metal and chatting, and I mean they're just not trying to get. They're not trying to end it.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Well, I think that's very European, though, right? European filmmaking, especially French filmmaking, it kind of takes its time.
Yeah.
And I say that from a place of complete ignorance.
Well, he's German, right? But
sure.
But whatever, yeah. No, but also I think it's when you become a certain, like, nobody's gonna tell, you know, I don't know, certain Spike Lee or something, or Steven Spielberg, or like they're gonna take as long as they fucking want for their movie, and if you don't like it, they'll make with some Woody Allen or something, and you know.
But they don't take time with their movies.
No, but they take as long as they want.
Sure.
I think
but I think the point that you're making in this movie is that the creator made some very interesting artistic choices.
Yeah.
To slow things down, to stretch things out, to put things in that I think a different director would have cut.
Yeah. And
You
would
know,
have gone
to make it more fast paced, to make it a shorter movie. It didn't need to be a shorter movie.
Yeah, it's like this travel
And-
log, this worldwide travel log, and
Yeah, and you can't have like, I think one of the mistakes that some movies make, that like hip hop around the world, and they're, whether it's a Bourne movie or whatever, where they're bebopping all around the world, is that it kind of, to do that and to get that feel of bebopping around the world, it should be long.
oh yeah, yeah.
When you cut it and you make it like, oh, now suddenly they're in Moscow, now suddenly they're in France, now suddenly they're in Australia. If the pace is too fast,
Right.
then for me it just doesn't. I like those other movies. Let me just say, I like those. I like those other movies. But when the pace is drawn out, like in this movie,
Yeah.
It makes the travel that they're actually doing seem more realistic. I can relate to the.
Yeah.
I can relate to the movement, the physical movement of the movie in pace with the physical movement of their locations. And he also did a couple of other things that I thought were really interesting, that I really appreciated. Like, he kept some characters in the movie throughout that, like, they didn't need to be there.
Yeah,
Like, they really played no role. The detective and the bank robber, who was just like this lovable kind of like goofy dude. Like, hey, I was, and they set it up interestingly, I thought, because at the beginning, when they just gave her the money and were like, hey, take this money to Paris for us.
Yeah.
But we learn, oh, they have a tracker on the back, right? Immediately I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be nefarious.
Yeah.
It's a scam. They're going to they're going to come and like rough her up or something like that. And they never explain that part. They never really bring in the second bank robber again.
But they
until the very, very end.
There was something to what you're saying, like the detective that was on the hunt with the guy with the hat, the second guy with the hat that was on the hunt for Sam Farber or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he was tied up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the bank robber let him go. They were in cahoots, remember?
Yeah.
But they
never really explained that.
They didn't explain it, but I'm saying, so there was an element of that. Wasn't the friendly bank robber guy kind of the one that was nice to Claire, was also helping this guy capture Sam? And even though they were faking, I mean,
not really. I mean, you don't really know. But this bank robber guy is just like, they're in Australia and he's just kind of like hanging out, sleeping on a hammock.
Well, no. But see what happened. So the way I look at it is that the bank robber guy comes and he handcuffs Claire to the plane door, and he gives her a truth serum to tell her where Sam went. And then
that wasn't the bank robber guy.
No.
That was
sorry, the detective guy, the bounty hunter guy. Sorry.
Yeah, the bounty hunter
guy
yeah.
comes, handcuffs Claire to the plane door to get information about Sam, right? Then later, the bank robber guy comes and is using like a file to try to cut her loose from the plane door,
right?
And then in the next scene, he's released. They tie up the bounty hunter, and then the bank robber guy goes and releases the bounty hunter.
I know,
and he's like, "Thanks, mate." Like they're in on it together. And then I think what happened would change.
Yeah, but that didn't feel like that to me. It didn't feel like they were in on it together. It felt like he went over and released him because, they had left. So no reason to keep him tied up anymore.
So what I was kind of thinking is that like in the face of this might be the community of people that I spend the rest of my life with because they didn't know that the world wasn't over. That all just didn't mean anything anymore. None of it meant anything anymore. And that's kind of why I was thinking the detective hung out, the writer hung out. I mean, Claire was pretty inconsiderate to her previous boyfriend's feelings.
Sure. Yeah, she was very unapologetic.
Yeah, yeah.
She was just like, "Hey, I am Claire."
But I guess there was some reference to like he had cheated on her or something, so she bolted. So I guess it was like, Anyway, I know.
Yeah, but this leads me to another one of the reasons why I really like this movie. It was not over-explained,
right?
And they did not need to tie up every loose end at the end.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like, you're left to use your imagination, both within the structure of the movie and at the end of the movie. And I really like that. I know some people have a hard time with that. I really like that.
Yeah. It's like you like the ending in Sopranos or you didn't,
Yeah.
Well, this whole thing with me, it's like I don't know if it was just in the air at that point, but in that point in my life, you were sleeping with some girl one day, and the next day you're her friend, and you're sleeping with her friend, and then she's sleeping with, and everybody's just that's how my life was back then, and it wasn't, everything was just sort of, who knows what the world is gonna be, and nobody really was trying to everybody was just taking everything as it comes, sort of, and just trying to be open-minded and accepting and non-judgmental. And it felt like that's, like I don't know if you remember, but in the hotel, I think, or one of the hotels, the detective was just meeting Claire's old boyfriend, and she's like, and he's like telling her he's not going to get the girl or whatever, and he's like, you don't know my relationship with her, or and there's something, and that she felt comfortable. She's going after the new boyfriend, or hopefully, and she's asking him for money, and he comes to get her, and it's like, I sort of understand those kind of relationships, and I was in relationships like that, and those feelings, it was like how the world could be or how it should be, or so all, wow, yeah. So I don't know.
So 30 years later,
yeah,
you still like it?
Oh yeah, I loved them. I loved it. I mean, I wouldn't say though. Okay, good. So I forgot all about this. I wasn't rating it. I wouldn't say it's a great movie. I mean, I would say it's like I guess what do we I guess it's a great good movie, I would say.
A great good movie.
So we have this rating system that we're doing.
So let's talk about our rating system.
So basically, when we have what we call the little picture and the big picture. Like, generally speaking, the maybe like the best movie that was ever made is obviously a great movie, and the best movie that was ever made is a great movie or whatever. And movies are either great or fair or good or bad or terrible. And we were going over that example the other day just for people to understand. Like, Sex and the City, for example, is really a bad show. It's not, but it's a good bad show, or even a great bad show. But it's kind of a bad show. Just just in general. And whereas maybe Game of Thrones is a great show. But great, or maybe good great, because of the end. It wasn't, they kind of didn't quite finish it, but something like that, or Battlestar Galactica is a great show or something.
Right. So let's outline our rating system.
Yeah.
So we have two categories,
Yeah.
right? We have big picture, little picture,
Yes.
or little picture, big picture.
Little. Yeah. I mean, the big picture is the kind of thing that it is. What is it?
Yeah.
If you only
Yes.
could give one word, that's the one you would use.
Okay. So little picture, big picture.
Yeah.
And for each one of those categories, we have it's either great, good. Wait, now I'm forgetting. Great, good, fair. Do we have four? Did we decide on 4 or 5?
Let's see. It is. Sorry, I'm fucking this up here. Shit.
Great, good. We can edit this out.
I know. I hid myself. Anyway, I gotta remember not to move the mouse around because it's okay on this one. But let's see. Here's what it is. It is
Great, good, bad, or terrible.
great, good, fair.
Okay, we did put fair in there.
Yeah. Great, good,
Okay.
fair, bad, terrible. Yes.
Okay, so clip. All right, so let's discuss. Let's go over our rating system.
Okay.
So we have the two categories:
Right.
little picture, big picture, and in each one of those categories, it can be either great, good, fair, bad, or terrible.
Right.
So five possible ratings in each category.
Right.
And what do we mean by little picture? Like the way that I look at little picture is really like how much did I enjoy it?
Oh.
Right? How much like how did I experience emotionally and in whatever sense that I'm using to watch the movie, how did I enjoy it? Like where does it rate on that scale? Big picture is taking into account the kind of the bigger sense of the film.
Okay.
So was it, like to cinematography, acting, all the editing, the production, the all of those other aspects.
Well, I don't even think. I think whether it's the big picture, you almost don't even have to think about. When it's over, you know. You don't have to even like. It's the kind of thing you instantly know the answer. The little picture is the one you have to think through. That's how.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking of it in terms of like a grilled cheese sandwich. Like like a grilled cheese sandwich. No matter how good it is, it's never like great food. It's never a masterpiece. It's never. It's always like good. It's fair to good at the best. But man, if somebody gets like I don't know, like focaccia or brioche, and it's a chef and he oils the outside and he cooks it in a pan and he heats it just right, and it's like they could do some, and they put like tomato on it and maybe bacon, and they could make it pretty fucking amazing, and that
Right.
would be like
So-
great.
so it
That
could
would
be-
be great good in that situation, like that. Like or
Great example.
Or if it's Wonder Bread and you put it, and you Wonder Bread American cheese, and you put it in the microwave for 30 seconds. It's terrible.
It's a terrible good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So there you go. That's the toasted cheese analogy that perfectly explains our rating system.
There we go. Okay. Thank you.
All right. So that being said,
Yeah.
you are rating it.
I'm rating it great good. It's a good movie. It's not, you can't go back. You can't look at that movie over the whole thing and say it's a great movie in terms of everything
Right.
we've ever seen. And I probably would have said it was a great movie 30 years ago when I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And for me personally, I suppose it's a great movie, but I don't think it's a great movie. I think it's a good movie. And I think it's like within the good category, it's great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree with you on the big picture good. I'm actually struggling a little bit.
It could be good for you.
I think it's more good for me.
I
Yeah,
actually feel like you might be overstating. Great good, a little overstating it, and good
Well,
feels like
I think you have to take into account, I think, your emotional connection to seeing the movie in the first place. And I have to admit that one of the things that has me a bit on the on the border of great is that this this came out in '91, which is when I first went to Germany. When I first went to live in to live in Germany, and it sparks a little bit of that nostalgia for me of the international mystery and newness and excitement, especially of those times, and this amazing feeling of anything being possible.
okay.
and
Yes,
and
you're nailing it.
and yeah, and not just anything being possible, but anything being like okay in its possibility, you know.
Yeah,
And
there's a certain, like, you feel like there are places that they're doing things that you want to be doing, or that you hope you'll be doing, going places that you want to go. There's like, it's like places that you've been,
yes,
similar places that you've been. There's nostalgia, there's longing, there's possibility, there's hope.
Yes.
Yeah, it evokes all those feelings. It does. Yeah, you're nailing it. Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
And so that, like, so for me, it's right on the border of good, great, for a little picture. So
talking me into it. I could easily say, like, well, it's like it's hard. It's a hard judgment call. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's clearly it's better than fair. So you agree with the good part? The good.
Yeah, for
big
sure.
Picture.
Yeah, big picture, good. Yes.
Yeah, because there's no way it's fair. It's better than fair, and great's kind of a bit much for saying it's a great movie.
No, I think no doubt.
Yeah.
Big picture, solid, good.
Solid good, and then
Yes.
and then saying fair good seems not enough. Fair
No,
good is not enough.
it's definitely not fair, good.
Yeah, and great good seems a little bit, could be a little on the high side. So
Yeah, like, so I think that, like, somebody like maybe in our age range, or that had, you know, some similar experiences at a pivotal point in their life, could react to it emotionally the way that we're reacting to it. You know,
but I'm hoping that's not that you know.
In terms of what I'm saying is in terms of putting it like near the great for the small picture. But I think, like, I think that it's in the good. So I would say for me it's a good.
You're kind of, and I would say for me, my final thing is I'm gonna move the check mark to like halfway between the good box and the great box on little picture.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, because why? It's our fucking system and we can do what we want.
That's right. And even though we're not seeing it right now, the checkbox should be moving up, or it's already yeah. And you know, I inadvertently moved the image while we were talking when I was trying to do something, and I clicked off of it. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna have a few seconds here and there of like when we're talking, it'll be blank basically. Maybe I'll pop in like, you know, Simpsons heads or something of us talking, you know, when it
you could do like you could pop in like one of those you know, when they cut the feed.
Yeah, technical difficulties, please stand by.
Yeah, technical difficulties. Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god. Speaking of which, you gotta see The Boys. It's crazy. Oh my god.
I'm on episode 3, I think.
Oh, The Boys. Are you watching it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's cruel. Oh my god.
God. What's his face? Not Captain America. Homelander.
Yeah.
Oh God, what a dick!
And it just gets worse. Oh my!
He pushes his kid off the roof.
Oh, he's still in check. Oh my god. Oh man. Ooh, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
That was. Wow. Well, I'm feeling pretty good about this. What do you think?
This is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do a wrap up. How do
Okay.
we do a wrap up?
Go ahead.
Let's.
Wrap it up.
I don't know. I'm still thinking about it.
That's you
Yeah.
mean me. Okay.
No, I'm not. I don't mean it's all up
Get
to you.
rapping.
I just get rapping.
No, I mean, I've been struggling a little bit when we're doing this about like trying to get through it quickly and like why if you're watching this and you don't want to watch us, just don't watch us. I mean,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fine. Yeah. And no offense if you are watching us, then I like you. Okay. So, yeah. I did have one thing. Did you should we dispense with the coin toss thing and just next week gets you? I mean, now that I went first, next week gets you, next me, you, and that's it.
Yeah. Let's just alternate.
Yeah.
Let's dispense with the coin toss.
Totally.
Let's just alternate.
Yep. Gets easier. Oh,
Yeah.
and you know what? You know what we didn't say. This was wanna see for me.
Right. Great. Okay.
How does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Sure.
And you were saying earlier how I think you inadvertently said it, but you were saying half or should see, half or should see and want to see, but you didn't really mean that, right? But half or should see. And
Well, I mean, the what we're doing here is 100 films that we think are essential viewing, and half of those are movies that we think that are essential viewing, and we want to see them. The other half are ones that we may or may not have seen, but we think are critically acclaimed or have are on everybody's lists of movies that should be seen.
okay, yeah, like I don't even know anymore if I've seen like The Bicycle Thief or whatever. So movie like that, like you're saying, there's certain movies that like you always feel like you should see. You always feel like you can't believe you haven't seen it. Blah blah blah. So you're gonna. So we'll be bringing some of those in, and this is a mechanism that makes us watch those movies.
Yes.
And then but we don't have to do it every time. So half of those kind of basically have to be like that, and half are ones that we suspect or know have a lot of value, but they're is something we actually want to see. So
Yes.
So I used up one of my and we're doing 25 and so we're each doing 25 and 25, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, oh, want to see Iron Man 1, want to see Iron Man 2. I'm sorry, should see Iron Man 1, should see Iron Man 2, should see Iron Man 3. Yeah. So, but I used up. So that being said, what do you think of this being one of my wanna sees?
Yeah.
No, I mean I know that you're fine with it, but when I mean like, does that make sense? As if I had said, okay, so when I just said a minute ago, I was making a joke. Oh, okay, hey, we're watching Iron Man. It should see. Like, and then the next week, oh, we're watching Iron Man 2. It should see. Watching, you'd be like, Iron Man 3. It should see. Now we're gonna see Captain America #1. Should see. I mean, you'd be like at a certain point, you would be speaking up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So I think I know what you're saying, or what you're asking.
Yeah.
If you said that this was a should see,
yeah,
I would question that.
there you go. And why? I mean, I actually agree, but I just want to articulate it.
Because it's I don't know. Like, it doesn't fit the criteria for me for should see. Should see for me is something that is that is
So we saw Grand Illusion together.
that is more in the in the, I guess, in the public eye, maybe.
Well, a couple years ago, we saw Grand Illusion. Remember?
Remind me about that.
That World
What's it
War
about?
One movie where I think it was the
Oh,
French
yes.
and the
Yes.
English, and
Mhm.
they were, you know, ostensibly enemies, but they were like more like their you know, their bosses were the enemies, and they were just like, we're all just soldiers together or whatever.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was supposed to, that movie had all this hype about being one of the essential movies that everybody should see.
That is a should see.
Right. But what I intend to do with my list, at least a bit, is not just put all the should sees that everybody knows that you should see.
Okay.
You know, because I mean, it's kind of. I mean, I know I guess we're trying to avoid naming the movies because in case we bring them up, but I don't want to name all. Either one of us could name 20 movies right now that you should see, and and it's like that's a little like so, and people can get that. I mean, even though we definitely need to get some of those in there for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
But,
And but I don't. I would caution, I guess, against doing a bunch of should sees that are like kind of esoteric movies, or much less known, because that could be a whole different category.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, what are the top 50 should see movies that you've never heard of?
I see. Right, and that might be our next series.
Right.
I see. So then if that's true, there's probably going to be a lot of overlap on our list.
Yeah, there might be, and when there is, we just continue adding to the list.
Yeah, until we get.
Because I mean, both of us have lists that are well over 100 right now.
Yeah. All right. So how do you feel we did?
I think we did great. It felt good, man. It did, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It feels like freeing to just be able to talk about it in a way that like I don't. The funny thing is, and it doesn't matter. We didn't talk about, or maybe you did a little bit. We didn't talk about like the filmmaking at all. Really, And
I think if it comes up naturally,
Yeah.
I don't think we should have criteria that we need to talk about this, that, and like, let's talk about the production, let's talk about the filmmaking.
I agree.
If it comes up naturally, then let's fucking talk about
so
it.
it did come up naturally now because I said it, and it was nothing. It didn't get in the way. To me,
Yes.
there was nothing about that. There was nothing particularly amazing about the cinematography or something. It wasn't. It was fine. It was good.
It was fine.
Yeah. It was
Fine. Didn't get in the way. Yep. Didn't get in the way is a great way of characterizing it.
Yeah. Okay. Love the music. Could not love the music more. Basically. Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Except the Japanese
Oh God.
theme.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Like.
The-
Yeah, and it's funny because
Different-
there was a few funny moments in the movie that were actually funny, like with the Russian bot looking the search
That
bot.
was hilarious.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that Japanese scene was like fucking, like, it suddenly turned into a Laurel and Hardy movie.
Yeah, you know what I think it is I don't know for sure, but because as you know, I have a degree in choreography, and they go through this thing where everybody has to do a chair dance, like as you're a choreographer, like it's just you, or it's just at least you, or just one dancer on the stage with a chair, and that's your dance. And what can you do? And it's kind of like it's like an exercise, and it sort of seemed like, not that it was a dare or something, but that. Yeah, did you ever see that Saturday Night Live skit where it's I don't know. It's like I think it's like Sting as being Billy Idol, and and Mike Myers as being Frank Sinatra, I think, and then there's like somebody's being Sinead O'Connor or whatever, and they got this whole round, and they're all this whole very bizarre roundtable discussion. But the whole idea, apparently, I don't know if this is true or not, but it doesn't really matter. But the idea was the skit got started because the line, I got chunks of guys like you in my stool, is the somebody wanted to use that line in a skit, so they centered that was the center point for the skit, and so no matter what happens, that line's in it, because that's, even if it doesn't work anymore, and it kind of, I mean, it had a feeling like that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the whole movie started idea with a stupid Japanese running around that hotel. That was like how the movie started, and then it got really good, and he couldn't take it out because that was like, or something like that, because it was
that's fucking funny.
Clearly did not belong. Just oh my god, the director's cut.
Totally out of place.
We're gonna have the Phantom Edit guy has to come by and chop that fucking thing out. I'd rather have Jar Jar Binks than that guy.
That's a close one for me.
All right, so next time, you're
next
up,
time.
Baby.
All right.
So now it's last question. Is this choice of mine going to make you possibly change or alter your first choice?
Nope.
Because you're having a hard time with your first choice, you said.
Nope. This solidified my choice.
Solidified it. Oh. Yeah. Well, you were having a hard time, right? Deciding.
I was, and then I let go of the hard time.
All right.
Let it go, man.
Let go, man.
I was like, I've made my choice, and I have my reasoning for why I made my choice. I'm just gonna go with it.
Cool. So we're gonna end our little thing here. You think that's a good place
to
end it? Okay,
this is a good place to end it.
I am killing the videos. Till next time, everybody. What?